Hi, I'm Larry Nespoli with the New Jersey Council of County Colleges. At New Jersey's community colleges, we believe that our students, as well as all citizens, need to be informed about the important issues facing higher education. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. Wells Fargo. Activists in cooperation with the American Medicine Chest Challenge. The law firm of Gibbons PC. Cohn Resnick, providing accounting, tax, and advisory services for more than 90 years. And by New Jersey Natural Gas, proud to support education in our communities. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com. And by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Steve Adubato on location here at the 2013 New Jersey Education Association Convention in Atlantic City. They've been coming here to Atlantic City since 1905. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary of a fabulous series called Classroom Close-Up. We celebrate educators, others who make a huge difference in the classroom. Let me introduce our special guest today. She is Coleen Weiss-Magasic. She is a biological sciences teacher at the great West Milford Township High School. Good to see you.
Hi.
Is it not a fact, before we see this clip from Classroom Close-Up, you did not plan to go into teaching?
No, I did not.
Is it not a fact you wanted to be a doctor?
I did.
What happened?
I did student teaching for something to fall back on.
And?
I loved it. I know it sounds silly, but
It doesn't sound silly.
On Fridays I couldn't wait for the weekend to be over so I could go back on Monday and do it again. And then I got really excited thinking they were actually going to pay me to do this.
You said that to your husband, didn't you?
I did.
You said they pay me for this.
And every once in a while when I complain that it's a miserable day, he says to me, why do you think they call it work? And I say, it's never been like work. This is my 24th year.
24.
Yeah.
And by the way, 2 of your sisters who are here, of the 8 siblings in your family, 3 are educators, right?
Yes.
But let me do this. Let's set up this clip. This clip is about an initiative. You won the HIP Award. The HIP Award, the full name is?
Frederick L. Hip.
Named after the former director of the NJEA.
Dr. Hip, who's director of NJEA. It's the Excellence for Education grant, and it was created for innovative programs in education. And so our program is 5th graders working with high schoolers, and the 5th graders are growing trout in the classroom, and the high schoolers are taking them out in the field and doing stream studies with them, and then they come to the high school and they dissect fish with them, and then the high schoolers do some of their own research separate from that, independent from that. Absolutely.
Well, we've seen it. You want to let everybody else see it?
Absolutely.
We can do that?
Yeah.
Want to introduce it?
So here's our clip from Classroom Close-Up on swimming upstream.
You're taking my job. Cut it out. Let's go.
Today we're at Westbrook Park making science come alive. We have 5th graders and high school students coming together. The high school kids are really great mentors to my 5th graders. We get together with them a couple times a year, and they really get excited to come and see the high school students, and I think the high school students as well. It gives them kind of like a little buddy, a little friend to come out here and show them how to do things and take the science at their level and bring it down to our level and show where we're going.
Oh, there's a snail.
Yeah, look at that one.
We found 2 spiders and a worm.
So when we arrive here, the students set up their stations. We break up into groups. They introduce themselves to each other, and then they head down to the stream.
We're doing some stream testing. We were here in the fall testing water temperature, water quality, pH level.
They take a water sample back up to the pavilion, and then they look for macroinvertebrates. Once they get up to the pavilion, they start looking through, trying to find evidence of water quality, and different macroinvertebrates have different water quality requirements. So we're looking for the ones that are going to have a high water quality requirement, because trout require good, clean, cold, oxygen-laden water. Mr. Rennie always wanted trout in his classroom, and so I was aware of the Frederick L. Hip grant program. And when the application was available for us to do, I went ahead and wrote the grant, and we got funded. The first thing it paid for was Mr. Rennie's trout.
I'm currently growing some trout in my classroom. We got them from eggs, and the idea is to release them into a trout stream in the spring. And the stream that we have selected is fed by the stream here at Westbrook Park, and we are looking to see what kind of water quality we'll be feeding into the stream to make sure that the trout that we will release will have success in the wild.
Some of the misnomers about teenagers are just so destroyed when you see them together with younger students. They're kind and they're generous and they're great role models, and they just really look after the kids and work closely with them, and it allows them to kind of revisit their own childhood and, you know, get excited about things that they used to be excited about. For the younger kids, they have these role models that they look up to. I think that it's really simple to get kids outside to do things. All you need to do is have a question that you want them to answer. They're kind of watching something and they're collecting data. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to do it. It's just put on your shoes and go outside. Kind of like my mom used to say.
So let me get this straight. Now, your mom used to say exactly what?
Put on your shoes and go outside.
Is that a lot of what it is?
That's a lot of what it was when we were young. That's not a lot of what it is for kids today. And that's one of the reasons that I felt so passionate about and feel so passionate about doing things that get students outside. They can't tell a maple tree from an oak tree. They don't understand the beauty of nature and how it works together. And so this project in particular, students go to the stream, they look at the water quality. As they're looking at the water quality, they're thinking about the trout. The high school students understand the relationship of the trees to the water and what that water quality means. The fifth graders understand what trout need because they're raising them, and then they come together and just have this great conversation.
We have boys who are 9 and 11 in the public schools in Montclair, but I also have a son who's much older. And I think to myself, how great it is when they're interacting. What's it like for you to see those high school kids with the fifth graders? What's that like?
It's amazing. It's the first time that we had fifth graders come to the high school for dissection. There were 48 students in the room of fish.
Go ahead.
There were 48 students in the room, a bunch of adults, and you could have heard a pin drop. Everybody was focused. The high school students are supportive. They direct the fifth graders, but they don't do it for them. The fifth graders look up to them. It excites them about science. It's every stereotype about high school students is broken down right at that moment. And you just see these really caring individuals who are knowledgeable, experts in their field, and they're just excited to be that.
How do you see your role in all that?
A facilitator.
What does that mean?
I set the stage for them to explore, and then I guide them through that exploration, but I don't tell them what they should find, and I don't tell them where they should go with that. And so I explain to them how to do the dissection, and then I help them as they're identifying the parts, but I don't say to them, okay, do this and this and this, and then stop, because it's more exciting if it's their discovery.
Question before I let you out of here. A series like Classroom Close-Up, celebrating its 20th anniversary, a great series that can be seen on our sister station, our partners at NJEA TV, the public television station in New Jersey we're proud to be a part of. How important is a series like that?
Extremely. It just puts in the public eye how great education is, how excited teachers are, how many wonderful things are going on in the classroom. There's just so much positive energy in education, and unfortunately we don't always see that, but that's what we need to see. That's what we need to embrace. Kids are learning, teachers are excited. We need to see that.
And finally, a convention like this is great because?
Rejuvenates you. It's like a little shot in the arm. Yeah,
You've
absolutely.
been coming here for a few years now?
Just a couple.
But still?
Absolutely, absolutely. If nothing else, you pick up on the enthusiasm and you go back and think, I can do this.
Passion after all these years.
Yeah.
It's great. Listen, I want to thank you very much for joining us as part of the 20th anniversary of Classroom Close-Up. You're a credit to your profession, and many students have benefited from it, and those of us who are parents particularly appreciate it. I'm so glad you became a student teacher at the time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
We're here with Bob Garrett, who is the CEO of the Hackensack University Health Network. Bob, the remnants of a very dynamic and important discussion. Some of the folks are still here. The Commissioner O'Dowd is being interviewed right behind you. Graduate medical education. You and the folks at Hackensack brought these people together. We had a huge audience, great panel. Why was and why is this topic of graduate medical education so important to Hackensack?
Well, it's important to Hackensack as it is really to the entire state of New Jersey, and for that matter to the entire nation, because we have a physician shortage that's expected to continue to grow in numbers. So we really need to be able to address graduate medical education, to fund it properly, and to encourage physicians to practice in areas particularly that are in those shortage zones.
But here's the thing, Bob. Again, Bob's been with us on many of our different programs. We try to make it relevant for the average person watching. It's not a clinical discussion for clinicians, it's for the average person. Make folks know, help folks know at home, Bob, why this is important to them, because they're saying, I'm not going to become a physician. Why is it relevant for me?
Well, why it's relative to them is that folks are going to need primary care physicians for their basic health care. And if you think about the Affordable Care Act that was just recently passed and is implemented, they're expecting, after hopefully the problems get worked out, that 40 million additional Americans will have insurance. They're going to need primary care. They're going to need primary care physicians. They're going to need primary care providers to take care of them. Otherwise, their alternative would be to go to an emergency room, which is not the best in primary care, or they may even have to neglect their care because they don't have access to the right provider, to a physician.
So graduate medical education is doing what in that regard?
So graduate medical education is helping to train physicians to become primary care physicians and hopefully place them in areas where the physician shortage is most acute.
And Commissioner Mary O'Dowd from the Department of Health talked about today a very significant increase, a $40 million increase of state dollars going to graduate medical education. Let's talk specifically about what that investment means and how it directly affects the programs you and your colleagues are involved in.
So that's been huge for places like Hackensack University Medical Center and other academic medical centers in the state of New Jersey. So
break it down for us.
So as a result of that type of funding increase, we've been able to train from 110. We increased our training from 110 residents to 150 residents, which is a significant increase. We were able to
That's potentially more physicians.
More physicians. We were also able to start a new training program in emergency medicine because we're gonna need that. That's part of the primary care physician issue that I just spoke about. So the funding that the commissioner and the governor have provided to academic medical centers has just been a huge development and a very positive one in training physicians and hopefully ultimately to address the physician shortage in our state.
And Bob, some of the collaborations that were talked about here, describe some of them and describe why they are so significant.
Well, we have academic partnerships with a few different institutions. St. George's University in Grenada in the Caribbean, Rutgers University right here in New Jersey, Stevens Institute in New Jersey, and then Georgetown University down in Washington, D.C. So through those affiliations, we're able to train students. We're able to increase our residency slots, and we're also able to influence curriculum at the medical school level to reflect what's really going on in the real world. So
what does that mean, influence curriculum?
Meaning that that medicine has changed. It's more of a team science now. It's more collaborative between physicians and advanced practice nurses and pharmacists. It's a real team approach. So you have to start to train medical students to be team-oriented back when they first start medical school. Through our affiliations and partnerships, we're able to deliver that message that the team approach is really how medicine is going to be delivered in the future, and therefore the medical schools will adopt their curriculum accordingly. And it's been a real success story.
Today is a very important day.
It really is. It's this type of forum is important. I think it's important to the healthcare system in the future. It's important for people to understand what we're trying to do to address the physician shortage here in New Jersey and really throughout the nation. I would encourage more of these forums to take place not only throughout our state but throughout the nation in the future.
Dr. Feldman and Dr. Boskamp, two the experts on our panel talking about Graduate medical education here at Hackensack UMC. Important discussion. Both of you have dealt with this from a variety of perspectives. Dr. Feldman, let me ask you, the biggest takeaway for you in this discussion regarding graduate medical education, what we are doing well and what we need to improve.
I think what we need to do is we need to continue to create unique teaching environments for residents and potential residents that will attract them to come to our institutions and to remain there. So I think that's what we're doing here, and that's what we need to continue to do.
What's interesting to me, Dr. Boskamp, is once the issue of debt came up, meaning sometimes, very often, a student will go into medicine, and by the time they graduate, they've got a debt of approximately, let's be conservative.
Well, I mean, there are people out there that have $350,000, $400,000 worth of debt. It's a big number. And it's not just the debt from the medical school experience. They often have undergraduate debt as well. So that you add that on the first 4 years, an additional 4 years, then you're going to work as a resident at a salary that is not high enough to allow you to really begin paying off much of that debt. And you're really behind. You know, by the time you finish all your fellowships, your training, people are often well into their 30s.
And Dr. Boskamp was saying that very often that could potentially influence the decision a young physician will make as to where he or she will practice, what field. We need more primary care physicians, but you were saying sometimes they don't go into that field, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a disincentive. You might want to work in primary care, but it's just daunting to think, since that it's the lower end of the spectrum of how physicians are paid, that you may not be able to make the choice of what you exactly want to do, and you're driven to another area that society may not need as much.
And the problem with that is?
The problem is that you're you're forming an incentive to push docs into areas that may not fulfill the societal need. And so, you can't have everybody in the country reading x-rays. It just won't work. You have to have people doing primary care.
Dr. Feldman, jump in on this. It's important.
I totally agree. I'm in a specialty that's considered primary care, as Jeff is, pediatrics and emergency medicine. And you need to be able to create situations that doctors feel that they can go into a field and then have their own personal life afterwards and be able to afford to do the things that any other family would want to do without this enormous debt hanging over their head. And I think today's discussion brought up some of those approaches, innovative approaches that can accomplish that.
As a resident, you're the only resident here today. Everyone was talking about graduate medical education, but you lived it, you're in it, you don't understand it. When you made the decision to go into medicine, what was the driving force? What was the thing that said, yeah, I'm doing it, in spite of all the challenges?
I think the biggest thing for me was, especially in the emergency department, people come to me on the worst day of their life most of the time. And I want to be able to provide the care, be the person there that can help them. And what I'm learning here at Hackensack is how to actually do that for them.
What else do you hear? You heard that from Terrence, but what do you hear from others? Is it a comparable reason or a whole range of reasons? Why?
It is a range of reasons based upon their background, but I think that they really appreciate the power and the opportunity to be a physician, and along with that, the training that's required of that. So, I think we're getting the right people, which is one of the most important things, is the right people for the job. So people that really feel that passion, that are doing it for the right reason, and then when you combine it with that, it's the long days of studying, of working and stuff, that even though they're long hours, which they often can be, that drive keeps you getting up in the morning. And if you can get up in the morning and you're excited to come in, put in your time, learn about it, it says a lot about you as an individual, but it says a lot about the institution and hopefully the program that we have to be able to motivate, inspire people to reach their dream.
Before I let you out here, why'd you go into medicine?
Well, why I went into medicine is that, growing up I didn't have a family member or close friend that was a physician. So I sort of did a lot of kind of research on my own. But I have to say that I recognized early on what a gift and what a privilege it is to take care of a patient. And as we said in the emergency department, patients are coming in, and it's one of the rare times where they can't select their doctors. They're coming in based upon faith, so they're hoping that the physician can take good care of them. And I think that it's real powerful to be able to go in the room, make that connection, and use all your years of training and expertise to be able to make a good impact for them and sort of gain that trust in a short amount of time. And if we can capture that and always hold on to that, then I think that we'll be inspired for life as physicians and hopefully be able to inspire the younger generations of medical training.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org, or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from the Hyatt in New Brunswick. We're at the Perform Care event, the 50th anniversary, the signing of the 1963 Act. It's called the Community Mental Health Act of 1963, signed by President John F. Kennedy, one of the leaders in this community who's been at it for over 40 years. He's seen an awful lot. He is Joe Masciandaro. He is president and CEO of Care Plus New Jersey. Good to see you, Joe.
Thank you, Steve.
Tell folks what Care Plus really is and why it's such an important organization.
Care Plus is a community-based mental health and substance abuse organization. We provide a whole range of services, mental health, for children, adults, and people with serious mental illness.
Joe, we're talking to folks about the last 50 years. I mean, you've seen most of those years. First of all, how did you even get into this field, and why does it matter so much?
It was my summer job in 1963.
Some summer job.
Yes. I worked at a state hospital for my summer job. Mom, who knew no one, managed to get me a summer job in one of the state hospitals. So my job was to assist people in the hospital, and after a while I would go into the community and talk to patients who'd eloped, who would run away, to come back. So I kind of made a name for myself because I did this quite easily.
Since you have seen a few things with your vast and impressive background, what would you say the most significant improvements we've made in the past 50 years have been with respect to how we deal with and treat those with behavioral and mental health issues?
I think the 1960s Mental Health Centers Act had more to do with civil rights than with science. It really had to do with asserting the right to people to live, work, play in their homes, in their communities. The stigma about mental illness forced individuals to be institutionalized. So that was really what the Mental Health Center was about, Mental Health Centers Act was about, as well as establishing local control and planning. These were community-based organizations representative of the people who live in that community.
Why was that so important?
Well, because it reflects the needs and diversity of the local communities, hence the service delivery system is more consistent, with local mores and perceptions. I think the big change over the 50 years is that mental health and substance abuse now has more to do with science than with civil rights, although that's still an issue that needs to be paid attention to, particularly when it comes to stigma and other remaining prejudices.
If you were to identify what some of the most difficult challenges, Joe, we face over the next, I'm not going to say 50 years, the next 10 years, if you were to say, all right, we've made a lot of progress in the last 50 years, the law passed in 1963, the Community Mental Health Act of 1963 was critically important. Next 10 years, biggest challenges we face are?
One is workforce development. There is a real shortage of trained experts in mental health and substance abuse. I think integration of mental health and primary care is a huge challenge.
What does that mean? Translate that.
Well, what that means is that we think of mental illness as almost something that's outside of the body, something that is more spiritual in some way. But in fact, mental illness comes from a dysfunctional brain. And a dysfunctional brain in a dysfunctional body is not going to give you good health. So the essence of the challenge is to make sure that we treat the whole person, both body and mind.
And an event like this, bringing together experts, advocates, people from all different walks of life who are committed to this field, why is an event like this so important, so significant to have?
It highlights, the accomplishments and the challenges. Bringing peers together is very important. We function in isolation in our roles. We have individual challenges, and by being with your peer group, you feel so motivated and so reinforced and so repurposed.
What do you mean? It's interesting. You said that sometimes you're isolated. You didn't say silos, but I'm thinking about that. You mean you're doing what you do every day and you don't get a chance to recognize, celebrate, share with each other?
what we see as, exceptional circumstances, such as the aftermath of Sandy, are really...
Talk about that.
They're really everyday events. They happen in small scales, whether trauma occurs in a family situation or because of a crime or because of, unpredicted violence and so on. Those are the kind of things that are everyday business, in a mental health center. We see that every day. So that's kind of the isolation. You really are dealing with people who are in crisis, families who are in crisis, and they're looking for you to help. And at the same time, you kind of feel like helpless. And how much more can I do? How much are they going to contribute to their recovery? How much is science going to contribute to their recovery?
For some of those who really suffered in Moonachie and other communities, who experienced some mental health issues, do you think that was shocking for them? They never expected that?
Sure. Trauma affects each one of us. And just what trauma does is really change the brain chemistry. So it's not that you have just a memory of the event. The event is imprinted in the way you feel, the way you act, and the way you think. And so getting appropriate treatment for that condition is really the key to recovery.
How important is it to help those people understand that, quote, there's nothing wrong with them, but they need to ask for help and they shouldn't be embarrassed about that?
It's essential, and again, that plays into the overall stigma about mental health, that people see experiencing trauma as a sign of weakness. And in fact, it's a normal reaction to a stressful event.
Is it normal?
Yes, absolutely. Of course. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a diagnosable condition. But you really can't make that diagnosis until several weeks or months after the event occurs. So initially what you're dealing with is a normal stress reaction. If you don't treat that, then eventually your brain gets hardwired, to experience the condition on an ongoing basis. And so getting treatment early is the most effective intervention, but then following up is even more important.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, activists in cooperation with the American Medicine Chest Challenge, the law firm of Gibbons PC, Cohn Resnick, and by New Jersey Natural Gas. Transportation provided by Brook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.